Good evening, everyone. Welcome to your Rangers Review post-match reaction video from Ibrox. Another memorable European night down Govan Way as Rangers held Athletic Bilbao. 10-man Rangers for much of the game, and then it finished 9-man Rangers holding Athletic Club of Bilbao to a goalless draw. What an evening. At Ibrox, there was a Liam Kelly save in there. Robin Proper sent off after just 12 minutes. It was a Rangers performance. It was gutsy, and everyone can be proud of their efforts tonight. Bailey Rice stretched it off in that second half as well. We're told that he is okay. But Joshua Barry is at Ibrox for us. He's up the back because there was a large contingent of Spanish journalists that made it over and they got the old red carpet treatment. So Joshua's at the back end of Ibrox, but he's here. He's watched the events unfold. How's it going, first of all, Joshua?
Yeah, I feel like I've just sat through about two games, Derek, in all honesty, and not just because it was over 100 minutes, but it's a draw that I think will feel like a win. Obviously, still a big ask for Rangers to go through from here, going away to Bilbao. I think tonight shows that they don't have much, not much, but they shouldn't be fearful going into that tie.
Yeah.
They really did leave everything out there. When that red card, and we'll come on to it, when that red card happened after 10 minutes, everyone was fearing the worst that was in the stadium, absolutely, because you could see in moments the quality that Bilbao had. And there was a couple of moments of luck, Sanidi, I think I keep pronouncing his name wrong. Sanadi, pardon me, had a great chance at the front post. Not long before that, Liam Kelly penalty stop. Again, what a huge moment, and what a couple of big moments he's had in a season where he knew he was coming in largely to play second fiddle to Jack Butland. They didn't go that close themselves, but to be able to keep it at 0-0, as you say, with 10 men, with 9 men at the end, it was a real. They just left absolutely everything out there. Stark contrast to what we saw at the weekend, but we're used to watching that contrast between Rangers in Europe and Rangers in the Scottish Premiership. But I think you'd say, Derek, they couldn't have done more. If you said pre-match they were going to play basically 90 minutes with that extra time with 10 men and get through it 0-0, you'd have had very, very good odds. Bad odds, whatever, short odds. It wouldn't have been likely, is what I'm trying to say.
Good return on your money. Yeah,
good return on your money. Absolutely.
Incredible. So proud of Rangers tonight. Really, I'm especially going down to 10 early on. The sending off, incidentally, I've seen it. Some saying it was, I think it is harsh, but the letter of the law, I think it is a red card. He's diving in there. I think the boy's getting a shot away, Inaki Williams, if he gets clear of Proper. But from then on, actually, when Proper was sent off, I did think of Josie's post-match press conference when he got the red. There's a comment coming in here. Looks like Josie might have been onto something. UEFA trying to get Bilbao into the final. Yeah, I did. I remember his post-match when Fenerbahce were dismissed by penalties at Ibrox when he was talking about Mats Hummels getting sent off early into their second leg against Bilbao. So he did say it would be a phenomenal result. Rangers keep the tie alive, which is all we asked for. And the odds were stacked against him when he got that red, Joshua. When you've seen it, I know he got a yellow to begin with. It got upgraded to the red. I guess you're feeling the worst at that point, but credit has to go to the team. I thought they reacted well. They didn't crumble at that point.
Yeah, my first thought was, is it inside the box? And that's what I initially thought. Maybe the referee was going over to the VAR screen to review. I think it's a red card. I think Leon Balogun carries a lot of responsibility because he gives the ball away. And actually, for me, a big part of the issue, Derek, is, and we spoke about this pre-match, how are Rangers going to get the ball forward? How are they going to play through Bilbao? And I thought in the first 10 minutes, while we had a lot of the possession in the back three, you could see that Bilbao were basically quite happy to wait and then try and trap them in the middle. Balogun gets a short pass from Proper. He's obviously on his right foot, so he has to kind of play inside the pitch. Bilbao spring the trap from there. A minute before that, they'd had a good chance on the left wing when Dessers failed to hold the ball up, which was not an isolated incident on this night. But that was, again, because Rangers are trying to play through the middle in that instance, and Dessers is, I think, it's the poorest part of his game. A couple of midfielders run forward, and suddenly there's a big open space. in the middle. So there was a lot of errors, I think, leading up to that. Balogun then misses first contact, and you think, is that why proper Axel Rashleigh? But I think it isolated his lack of mobility, which has been a huge issue, Derek, really, in all honesty, since he ever came to the club. It's not been as bad in European competition, but you saw the speed of movement of I think it was Inaki Williams in that situation, which ultimately led them to dive in. And you're right, I think everyone was fearing the worst. It's interesting, and people can maybe let me know if they're watching it on TV in the comments. But I thought as he was going off, Proper was trying to gesticulate to Barry Ferguson that maybe it wasn't a red card or get a bit of support from his manager. To my eyes, from behind the dugout, so it could be wrong. He didn't look happy. He didn't look like he was, and understandably so, but he didn't look like he had much sympathy for his defender. People can tell me if my take there is off the mark. But to be fair to him, he didn't go to a back five. He stuck with a back four, and I thought from there, Ridvan Yilmaz in the first half as 1v1 defending was brilliant. I thought Tavernier for much of the night as well, up against a really dangerous opponent, and Nico Williams defended well. Dujon Sterling and until he went off, and I'm sure we'll come on to talk about Bailey Rice, but I thought for a first European start in those conditions, unfortunate for him to go off like that. It looked like he managed to applaud the crowd as he was going off.
He did, yeah.
But I thought pretty much to a man. They did not only what they were asked, Derek, but more than what they were asked, and made up in large parts of that man disadvantage.
Yeah, sending off. I think Proper square pass to Balogun wasn't the best either. It was just a bit of a mess to begin with. And I was fearing the worst when he got dismissed. But much like Fenerbahce, Rangers, when he get clattered by Jack Butland, Leon Balogun came on over there in Turkey, and Rangers were magnificent. And they were when Robin Proper went off, when they went down to 10. We have to mention, of course, that Liam Kelly, the man of the moment, comes in. Big call by the manager. To begin with, to remove Jack Butland and put Liam Kelly in. I thought he looked commanding in the first half. He made a great save. I love when goalkeepers hold on to a ball and don't tip it away. That corner that came in and the header that he just grasped with both hands, absolutely love that. And then his big moment came in the second half with the nonsense that was the 4.5 minute VAR check when the ball was played over the top. The athletic substitute knocked it in. I think it was his first touch. And then we had a lengthy check. It was initially looking for offside and then handball. And then, handball from Dujon Sterling, which is the most harshest handball you've ever seen. This handball rule is just an absolute nonsense for me. It's ridiculous. But a penalty was awarded. The goal was ruled out. Liam Kelly didn't step up. He just put his leg out. And saved it, much to the delights of the Ibrox crowd. It was a massive moment in this game, Joshua.
Huge. Again, this is one of the issues with VAR in stadiums, is you have
nobody knows.
No one knows what's going on exactly. So we thought the referee was pointing. When he pointed, Nico Raskin kind of, when the decision was made, threw his hands up. The referee pointed offside. So I thought, what's he unhappy about? Obviously, as you say, it was a penalty. It was awarded for. Agreed. I've not seen it back, but the fact that no one around us, it looked extremely soft. Yeah. But for Liam Kelly, and I think I remember an interview you did in pre-season, Derek, and around the time of the move, there was a lot of talk about the fact that he understands he's coming in to play second fiddle. He is to a degree sacrificing being in Scotland squads for this. He is sacrificing guarantees of first team football. He'd obviously captained Motherwell in the Scottish Premiership for a number of seasons prior to coming to Rangers. But I think to his credit, he knew he'd do a lot of sitting on the bench at the start, but he wanted to take a chance for moments like tonight. And you cannot give him any more. You can't give enough praise, for his ability to step up in big moments, because that was as you say, the save he makes in the first half is a good save. It looked to me like it was out of his reach, and he holds the ball. The penalty stop is an excellent stop because he doesn't necessarily guess the right way, but he does what all, I think, good goalkeepers do in that situation, which is leave his leg hanging. Yeah, and makes the stop from there. So you can talk about there the fact that in isolation he made a good save here or there, but much like the Old Firm game, I think you saw why he was brought in to fulfill this role within the squad, and ultimately, because it's a difficult role to be a second goalkeeper, especially when you've been, I'd imagine, a first teamer, and then come in and perform on nights like this. The big question is now,
do he keep his gloves?
Yeah. But, I mean, how do you not? What I would say, and people can see it on our social media channels, the first person over to him at the full-time whistle was Jack Butland, who did look genuinely delighted. Who did look genuinely delighted for him. And Butland, again, I didn't see the bench, but from our vantage point up here, Butland was one of the first members of the bench up to kind of remonstrate with the ref when the red was shown. So it didn't look like he was moping. He was playing his part of being a good teammate. But yeah, significant moment for Liam Kelly, and who knows what happens next week. That could be a huge moment, and it already is, just in the context of tonight.
Yeah, I'm delighted for Liam Kelly. Super performance, so well done, buddy. Kevin with the point, Man United might take Butland after tonight. I seen Onana with two howlers over in Leon.
Was it two? I saw the first one. Was it the second goal too?
The second one is a bit suspect as well. Leon getting a 2-2 draw over there, which is quite funny given Nemanja Matic's comments earlier prior to the game. But there you go. Liam Kelly, absolutely magnificent tonight, as were a number of others. Now, the Bailey Rice, we were watching on TV, and I've showed you him. Normally, when the TV cameras don't pan to a player that's went down injured, it means it's something serious. Of course, he was stretched off. You're right, Joshua. He did clap the supporters, and fair credit to the Bilbao fans as well, who were all applauding Bailey Rice when he was stretched off. Also, this point from Andrew, though, no concussion sub in UEFA competition is a joke. It absolutely is. But this is an absolute nonsense. Rangers having to end the game with 9 men when Dujon Sterling went down injured. Let's hope that's nothing serious. But to see out the fight, 12 minutes added on time, Joshua, and then to see out 4 and a bit minutes perhaps with 9 men, quite something. The last time that's happened was the UFA game, I think, when Rangers went over to Russia. Remember that? And back to earn their place in the group stage of the Europa League. But even then I was thinking 4 minutes seems an awful long time to last 9 men with this team of that quality.
One of the best moments of the whole game was when Hamza Kaman led about half of the Athletic Bilbao team on a dance in the far corner. The only bad thing was he ended it by kicking the ball away when you thought he maybe could have gone right again. But just honestly, I just still cannot get my head around the contrast in what you watch on Saturday, which looks disengaged. Disengaged is, I think, the biggest insult you can throw at it, compared to tonight when the buy-in is so clear. But we won't repeat that conversation again. With 10 men, Yanis Hadji did well, did a lot of tracking back and covering some pretty threatening wide runs. The one negative I thought for Rangers was you maybe should have seen Igaman earlier, because Dest was I just think he can't hold the ball up. Derek, in all honesty, again, we spoke about it.
And that's a problem.
It's a huge problem. And I don't really understand the ruthlessness. Look, clearly Kelly should have been in goals tonight. But I don't really understand maybe the lack of ruthlessness from Barry Ferguson. Because
especially when you go down to 10, Joshua. The guy hold the ball up, and it was just bouncing off him.
And I think the biggest issue that Rangers, and this actually was the issue in the Fenerbahce game as well, when Rangers were 11 men. It's not so much, especially tonight, because there wasn't real pressure on them to get a goal. It was about keeping a goal out at the other end. So it's not so much that they can't get up the pitch to create opportunities. It's that they can't get up the pitch to break Bilbao pressure, and they're gradually getting pushed more and more towards their own goal, which therefore more and more distance for them to make up and try and get up the pitch. So that, I thought, was an issue. Václav Černý looked pretty tired towards the end of that game, as he tends to, because he puts in a lot of running.
Yes, I might touch him shortly.
Yeah, but listen, overall, and we probably should have mentioned this in the Kelly point, Ferguson has taken some criticism, which I think is fair at points of this short tenure. But that was a big call to put Liam Kelly in there tonight, and he deserves, I think, some praise for making it, because I'm not sure how many people would have made that. Yeah, he did, to be fair to him. He did.
Yeah, apart from Desser's wasn't great. I would have brought a sub Eggman on maybe earlier on. Bluebells or Blue says it can also be pronounced Igga Maradona. Yeah, I just love watching Hamza Eggman. A big call. Given that Rangers are going away from home, I can see Dessers starting again over there. But it will be interesting. They're going to need someone that's going to hold the ball up, and Eggman is better at that than Dessers for me. Mentioned Yanis Hadji. Steve says a big mention to Hadji tonight for a tremendous defensive performance. Francis says Hadji fought like a madman. He'll sleep well tonight, Joshua. Great performance from him. He's another one that maybe a few eyebrows were raised going up. The Rangers need Yanis Hadji in that team tonight, but he showed why he was given the nod.
Yeah, especially defensively. Again, I do think that they lacked a ball carrier, and I was maybe thinking, will they bring on Chefty ahead of Ridvan? I thought both left backs did well. Chefty's decision making in a couple of moments was really good. Obviously, won that late free kick where you thought Liam Balogun might just get the end of it, but
imagine.
Because he looked like a man possessed trying to get on the end of that cross. But I think the comment here sums up. He just did a lot of hard work, a lot of covering those underlaps, which were really dangerous. And the biggest compliment I think you can pay Rangers tonight is that it's still going to be a big task to go away and get a result. But the biggest compliment you can give them is they made it look achievable tonight. Athletic didn't look worlds away. Now, will they be better next? They lost away at Roma and then beat them comfortably at home. They're not they are a little bit of a conservative side, even though they had the man majority for the large majority of that match. But it is more than possible. There's a serious chance that they can do it, even if that chance is slim. Yeah, and again, to do that with 10 men is so impressive. So I went off script there. I can't remember who we were.
No, it was important that for me, when Athletic scored that goal, I was just thinking, that's the last thing Rangers need, because
bad time,
a blow at that point. So it could be massive that just that shift in momentum, perhaps. They're given another golden opportunity from the penalty and that save. Who knows how that might change things. But I don't think Rangers should have any fear over there. It would help if they don't get a man sent off early into the game. And of course, we'll welcome back John Suter and Mohamed Diamandi for the return, which will be, you'd imagine they'll walk into the team next week. This is an interesting point. Bluebells or Blue says Ridvan had Williams in his back pocket that first half. Was surprised Jefty was brought on, to be honest. I was a little bit as well. I don't know if he was just blowing out his backside. Jefty came on, and it was just, there was a point, I think he was caught under the ball and then lost his man, but it never came to anything. But just fatigue, I think, that would have set in, because I thought he had a good game tonight, Ridvan.
He did. I don't know, that cross I was talking about where it looked like they were going to score at the front post. I don't know if that derived maybe from Ridvan losing out. There's too much happening to keep track. I thought Chefty did well when he came on. Apart from that moment, there was a
one late on when he won a free kick.
And he ushered the ball out of play well a couple of times. It was a mature performance from Rangers, But Ridvan in the first half was very good. But he is capable of those performances, and then equally capable of performances like Dundee away recently, which is just a kind of epitome of this team. I thought Bailey Rice is without. He had to do a lot of dirty work. And I know we're speaking about Yanis Hadji there, and that's been a criticism of his game at points. He was taken off here. He was the one sacrificed against Queen's Park at halftime by Philippe Clement. Both Barry, I don't know if Barry Ferguson, but certainly Clement spoke about that off-ball side being a weak part to his game. But I thought he competed very, very well in there, and that's one to keep an eye on. Derek, his contract's up in 2026. Rangers would like to extend that by all accounts. Bailey Rice is now 18, and he's needed to see a pathway into the first team, you'd imagine, that now should be there. Again, a big call from Ferguson to put him in there tonight over Connor Barron, but I thought he did himself proud until he had to come off with what looked like a head knock, and good, the positive sign he was able to kind of applaud the crowd and everything, because when there is a delay that long, you do sort of fear the worst when you're in a stadium.
Yeah, you absolutely do. But let's hope that he's well. He was sitting up in the dressing room, so hopefully he makes it a full recovery. It sets it up nicely for next week, as we touched on in the days leading up to this game. Just asked that Rangers keep the tie alive, and they have done with a real ballsy performance. Heading over to Spain next week, Joshua, there's going to be a great sense of belief and optimism heading over there. Now, Sunday, I think, will take care of itself. With Pittodrie in mind, I did say earlier on in the week I would be considering just playing a completely fringe team up at Pittodrie. Couldn't care less about the outcome and the result. As long as Rangers get through this tie, then Aberdeen can win convincingly for me. I wouldn't be risking anyone on Sunday.
I don't know if Barry Ferguson will think like that, but I take your point and I agree with you. I mean, Dujon Sterling, we'll see Barry Ferguson's press conference is taking place as we speak. Yeah. We'll see what the severity is of that injury, because he's not played many 90 minutes and obviously he's kind of played successive 90 minutes, 3 in a row now. So hopefully that's nothing serious. But in principle, would I be starting Václav Černý? No, definitely not. Would I be starting Liam Balogun? No, definitely not.
Weirdly, I'd be playing Robin Proper on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's not playing Thursday, is he? So I'd be playing him.
Yeah, maybe. The league just really doesn't matter. And again, this Saturday epitomised that the kind of atmosphere on the pitch and off it too, because of what Rangers fans have watched throughout the majority of this season. So I'd kind of agree with you. That's not really been the case so far, but it's too big an opportunity. I mean, we'll obviously build plenty of time to build up to this game.
Yeah.
But as everyone knows, the tag of being the favourite, which Athletic are, the fact that they've got their home crowd, it can be positive, pressure. It can be pressure, as you say, it can be pressure. Yeah. And if Rangers can defend like they defended tonight, and there will be more space to play into, you'd imagine they'll have to be better with the ball, but there'll be a quiet confidence that I think suits them, and we've seen them deliver upon time and again in this competition. And I think, Athletic didn't look great tonight, but you've got to remember this is a team who are 4th in La Liga, won the Copa del Rey last season, finished top of the Europa League. It was only goal difference at Lazio, finished above them in the table. So a real step up from Fenerbahce.
And incidentally, talking about Lazio, Bodo Glimt pumped them 2-0 tonight over in
Did
Norway. They did. So wow. What an incredible story that is up there. So they've put themselves in the driving seat for next week as well by Bodo Glimt. Flo gets in touch. Barry said Dujon's getting scanned tomorrow morning. They'll know from there. So let's hope it's positive. But given his injury problems, then I am a little apprehensive about that. Thought he was good, incidentally, Dujon tonight. And weirdly, I did think that we were playing out wide right to keep an eye on Nico Williams, but I thought Tav dealt with him as well as he could. We've never really seen him get the better of Tav that much, really.
No. Again, we spoke about that pre-match. Would Tavernier be the higher one? And it was more for the 90 seconds that we saw Rangers with 11 men or whatever it was. It was more kind of 3-4-3. Slight
turn the lights out.
Yeah. It was more 3-4-3, but he did really well. And Nico Williams actually eventually moved into the centre, which again the probably is demonstrative of the fact that Tavernier had a really good game. So Sterling would be a big miss because of the kind of pure defensive ability he gives you in the back line, but also recovery pace. So kind of so important in facing a front line like that. We shall see. Options are limited with no Robin Proper too. You're looking at probably Clinton and Ciala coming in. Obviously John Souttar's back.
Yep.
We shall see.
We shall see. Like this, Scottish Beef says, brilliant result considering the circumstances. My first game in a long time. Buzzing, I saw Big Stevie. He's not that big. Johnny and Chris Jack. So I'm sure they were delighted to see you too, Beef, as well. But great to hear stories like that. People travelling from far and wide to go to that game tonight, and they'll all be leaving happy and optimistic, I'm sure, about next week. Certainly nothing to fear. Bilbao are clearly favourites. Of course, we know they are a quality outfit, but Rangers have given themselves hope and a chance. Again, as I keep harping back to what Josie said, it would be phenomenal if we're sat here next week, or me and you'll be in Spain, Joshua, but if we're sat here next week, or whoever's on the video, and Rangers have progressed to the semi-finals, it would be quite something. But yeah, very much looking forward to that, but we'll call time just now. We'll let you head downstairs. Joshua, what was it like sitting where you are as opposed to the gantry tonight? A bit weird.
No, it was slightly higher. So I enjoyed that you're kind of in the atmosphere a bit more.
Yeah.
It was a long night in one sense because so much was happening.
Yeah.
But while it wasn't a win and there wasn't a goal to celebrate, the noise after that Liam Kelly penalty save was a moment that kind of equated to a goal being scored. So another night here on a Thursday night that's defied expectation, and we'll see if Rangers can complete the job next week. It's going to be big, it's going to be tough, but tonight shows that you can't rule them out, and that's all that they can ask for going over to face Bilbao on their home patch.
Yeah, and you can't beat Rangers in European action in the springtime as well. It means that they've gone deep in competition. Absolutely love it. So, yeah, very much looking forward to it next week. And safe travels to whoever is heading out there. If you're heading over there, folks, I know that thousands are making their way to Bilbao. So let's hope it's a trip to remember. But we'll wrap up there for now. I'm back on tomorrow morning with Stevie. He'll join us at 9:30. I'm sure he'll have a big smile on his face, which will be fantastic. So I will get his thoughts tomorrow. Until then, enjoy your Thursday, whatever you are doing. Sweet dreams to you all, and we'll speak to you later on. Bye for now.